In today's clip, I'm going to give some observations on the absurdities that are the two Georgia Senate elections and what I find funny or amusing about it. Because honestly, I just want to have fun, even in politics. Heyo, Zanpak here, another day in the new year that still feels like the old year. Now, I'm not that political, but I do enjoy reading the news, and the most recent developments in this great country of ours continues to crack me up. Both as a libertarian-leaning guy and as a cynic, okay? So let's dig in with some observations. Oh yeah, and if you're already here, might as well comment, like, and subscribe, so I'll be a happier camper and make more content. Okay, observation number one. See, normally I would prefer if Congress and the president aren't in the same party. Balance is important in one's own life and in how a nation is governed, right? But after 4 years of Republicans having, majority control, certainly of at least one house of Congress and the presidency, right? But very little to show for it in these 4 years. I mean, look at the facts. There's no wall, there's no healthcare repeal, and the deficit's been increasing even before the pandemic, right? Not to mention the general lack of regard for human life during the pandemic itself, okay? So I wouldn't mind at all at this point if the Democrats got control for a while. If we can survive the orange douche for 4 years, I'm pretty sure we can survive slightly more socialist policies for a few years. Observation number two. Now, I can't believe there are voters in Georgia that has the ability to think that both the presidential election was stolen, but also that they should vote in these runoff senatorial elections at all. Because to me, to believe both of these things sounds like you think 2 + 2 = 4, but also that 2 + 2 = 5 at the same time. Okay? This is certifiably insane. Now, I totally get it. The human brain, we are extremely good at rationalizing and building narrative to rationalize one's own decision-making. But these two sides simply cannot be reconciled, okay? Either you think that your state's election apparatus or system is extremely faulty to the point of incompetence, or you don't, okay? The same system, the same exact system, can't possibly have screwed over the most powerful politician in the country, the president, and yet somehow capably handle a comparatively lesser elections for its senators. Observation number three. I'm gonna bag on the Georgian voters a little bit more, okay? Those that lean Republican. I'm super curious whether they think that these senatorial elections are even that important. If they also think that Trump shouldn't remain president, okay? Because if Trump remains, surely control over the Senate for Republicans would be less relevant, right? Think back to that whole balance thing. After all, most people do like balance, right? Whether you're Republicans or Democrats. So either you think that Trump will still be around, in which case please don't go vote in the runoff senatorial elections, or you don't think Trump will be around, which means that you actually know that he lost the presidential election. In which case, why are you supporting senators whose, both of these, by the way, in Georgia, they have hitched their wagons to Trump, okay? So who is literally the biggest loser in presidential election history, okay? Why would you want to vote for losers who hitched their wagons to another loser, a bigger loser? So how would I feel, really? Like, depending on how the actual election turns out. First of all, I think for Georgia, the election is on January 5th, but at the rate that they counted the votes for the presidential election, I don't even know whether we'll get a result before the end of the week, okay? But how would I feel if it went the Republican way or the Democrat way? Frankly, I'd be amused either way, because thank God I'm a cynic, okay? If the Republicans retain control, I could personally look forward to making fun of Moscow Mitch McConnell, because unlike the orange douche, McConnell actually hasn't reached a level of self-parody yet, okay? So someone else needs to make fun of him. And of course, if the Republicans retain control, I'm also more interested in seeing how much ruckus they can make to literally achieve no legislation of note again, just like during the Obama years, right? It's really a wonder how these guys, or why they even get paid to do nothing, okay? I can only hope that enough of this continuous doing nothingness or just saying no to new ideas will finally push voters in their home districts over the edge someday, okay? Now, on the other hand, final observation, if the Democrats win control of the Senate, I am absolutely positive things like the Green New Deal will go nowhere, okay? AOC does not represent even the majority of Democrats, not even remotely. So, I mean, I'm totally happy it's out there as a faraway goal, right? But there will be no sudden descent into socialism that, like, Fox News is always talking about, okay? So I think if the Democrats are in control, at least we can look forward to trying some new things, right? They might not all work, but at least they'll be tried, which is more than I can say for Republicans, right? To me, Democrats are just a bunch of tryhards that sometimes do not think through the consequence of their actions, but at least they try new things. And I'd be happy to make fun of AOC as well, okay? First of all, I'm not sure why she's a celebrity at all, because she can write snarky tweets? Or that extensive job experience as a bartender? Because, God, I hope it's not because some people find her attractive. I mean, that's a terrible reason, okay, to like a politician. So, finally, the reason why I think all the doom and gloom about what these runoff elections mean is just all BS. Because no matter which party is in control, I'll be doing great, okay? The macro-political atmosphere has very little to do with how us regular Joes go about our lives. So for those few, out there worried about the deterioration of America or the social or the, things like war on Christmas or whatever, try not to worry about that and worry about your own financial health instead, okay? After all, if you're financially independent, it just makes dealing with swings of governmental policy a breeze, okay? Or if you're really sick and tired of where the country is going, having financial flexibility means that you can just check out, travel outside of the country for a year or two, or a whole 4-year presidential term, okay? Then you'll see how great this country is in comparison to the rest of the world, okay? I promise that is that realization you're gonna reach. In the meantime, check out some of my other clips in the corners. Cheers!